Today's lesson is called Fierce Fire Signs. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
I'm Roger, and today we're going to continue talking about fire signs. Remember last time we talked about a couple zodiacal signs. We talked about Aries, and we talked about Leo. These are pretty strong, brutal, fierce animals, so it's not surprising that they're considered fire signs. And yesterday, of course, we talked about the story of Chrysomalis, which is a magical golden-fleeced ram. It saved a couple of kids, and it asked to be sacrificed by Aries, or to Aries, rather, and was immortalized in the sky as a ram, one of the signs of the zodiac. We also talked about Leo. What was that story about?
Oh, Leo the lion was not a nice fellow, okay? He used to menace people all over the place, and he had that thick skin that you couldn't puncture or wound with any weapon, so the story goes like this. Because you couldn't kill it with a weapon, you called in Hercules. And yes, Hercules was able to kill this lion because he did so with his bare hands. How cool. What great story. We now know what is behind the stories of both the constellation known as Aries and the constellation known as Leo. How cool. Next up, we're going to learn about another fire sign, by the way. The fire sign Sagittarius.
The third fire sign is Sagittarius, whose myth is somewhat uncertain. According to many accounts, Sagittarius is represented by Chiron, a half-man, half-horse creature known as a centaur. Unlike other centaurs, who were violent and wild, Chiron was wise and knowledgeable. He instructed many Greek heroes, including Achilles, Jason, and Hercules. Chiron is also considered the father of medicine since he taught Asclepius, the god of medicine, the art of healing.
各位好，第一部分我们看到形容词 knowledgeable 这个字通常接介系词 about 或 on， 意思是博学多闻的、有见识的。例如 Tracy is very knowledgeable about computer programming。Tracy 在电脑程式的领域里博学多闻。另外补充相关片语 with somebody's knowledge。knowledge 在这边是知道的意思，表示在某人知情的状况下。我们可以说 Did you borrow Jenny's car with her knowledge? Jenny 知道你借了她的车吗？相反的 without somebody's knowledge 就表示在某人不知情的情况下。举例来说The thief climbed through a window of the building without the security guard's knowledge. 小偷在警卫不知情的情况下，从窗户爬进了那栋建筑物。
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the third fire sign, and that is Sagittarius, which I believe is an archer shooting an arrow or something like that. And the third fire sign, of course, is Sagittarius, whose myth is somewhat uncertain. So we're pretty sure about the myth of Aries or Chrysomalis and also of Leo, but the myth concerning Sagittarius is not so clear. It is somewhat uncertain. So if you talk about old stories from different cultures, especially if they involve magic or gods or things like that, those are myths. Of course, we're talking about Greek myths in today's program, and the myth of Sagittarius is kind of unclear. I suppose it has many different sources.
Anyways, according to many accounts, Sagittarius is represented by Chiron, a half-man, half-horse creature known as a centaur. So there you go. It's not a guy with a bow and arrow shooting anything up into the sky there, Roger. We've got something more interesting than that. Sagittarius is represented by Chiron, a half-man, half-horse. And yes, half-man, half-horse. You put them together, you get a weird creature with a weird name, centaur.
Very good. It's a special creature that you'll only find in mythology. You're not going to go to Farmer Brown's farm and see him raising a centaur there. But unlike other centaurs who were violent and wild, Chiron was wise and knowledgeable. So most centaurs were kind of violent. They weren't tame creatures. They were wild. They ran ran around, they hurt people, they were causing trouble. But Chiron was different. He was wise. He was very smart. He had a lot of experience, and he was knowledgeable. He spent time on the internet looking up information on Wikipedia and various websites. He knew a thing or two about various things. He would have done quite well on Jeopardy.
There you go. By the way, I'm sitting next to a very knowledgeable person when it comes to American films. There is nobody on earth that I know of who is more knowledgeable of American films than Roger. Yes, this guy can quote movies from America left and right. One day, if you see him on the streets, ask him to quote from the movie Slapshot for you. You won't be disappointed.
Uh-oh, don't get me going. Of course, I deny your accolade there. I'm not quite so knowledgeable on film. Your major was film, actually. We should say that you're more knowledgeable than I am. But in any case here, indeed, Chiron was wise and knowledgeable, and he was probably modest as well. He instructed many Greek heroes, including Achilles, Jason, and Hercules. So because he was so wise, because he was so smart, because he was so knowledgeable, he actually was a teacher. He instructed various Greek heroes, including Achilles, you know, the guy with the heel there, Jason and his Argonauts, and of course Hercules, who killed that lion with just his hands, with his bare hands. And Chiron is also considered the father of medicine, since he taught Asclepius, the god of medicine, the art of healing. So, gee, this Chiron was quite an intelligent creature. Wasn't wild and violent like those other centaurs. He taught or instructed those Greek heroes, but he also taught medicine to Asclepius. Who's that? Well, he's the god of medicine. Without Asclepius, we'd probably all die of dysentery right now.
There you go. It would be a totally different world without Asclepius, although it's not clear whether or not Asclepius ever actually existed. We know that he exists in Greek myths, but that's about it. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break. But don't go away. When we come back, we'll be learning more about the third fire sign, Sagittarius.
One day, Chiron was accidentally struck in the leg by a poisoned arrow belonging to his pupil, Hercules. The wound was so painful that Chiron wished to die, but he couldn't because he was a god. So he decided to give up his immortality in exchange for the freedom of Prometheus, the god whom Zeus had secured to a rock as punishment for gifting humans with fire. In recognition of his kindness, Chiron was given a place among the stars. Like Chiron, Sagittarians are well known for their wisdom, bravery, and love of adventure.
第二部分，我们看到一个片语 in exchange for， 表示交换。举例来说 In exchange for your help, I will take you out to dinner later. 我晚一点会带你出去吃晚餐，来回报你的协助。另外补充两个相关片语。第一 exchange A for B， 表示把 A 兑换交换成 B。例如 I went to the bank to exchange my American dollars for British pounds. 我到银行将美金换成英镑。第二 in return for， 表示以回报……举例来说 I sent Laura some flowers in return for all the help she had given me when I was sick. 我送花给 Laura， 以答谢她在我生病时给我的帮助。再来，我们看到动词 secure， 指固定、拴牢，像是 secure A to B， 表示把 A 固定、拴牢在 B 上。例如I secured the suitcases to the roof of the car with a rope. 我用绳子把行李箱固定在车顶上。另外 secure 除了当动词，也可以当形容词，指安全的、无危险的。举例来说 To keep my money secure, I put it in a bank. 我将钱存在银行里，确保安全无虞。接着我们看到一个片语 in recognition of 加名词，意思是以表彰、褒奖……认可……像是 An award was given to the teacher in recognition of all the work she did over the years. 那位老师获颁一项奖项，以表扬他多年来的奉献。
Okay, let's continue to learn more about Sagittarius, one of the fire signs, along with Aries and Leo. So one day, here in the next paragraph, Chiron was accidentally struck in the leg by a poisoned arrow belonging to his pupil Hercules. So I guess they were probably kind of playing around there or something, or practicing their archery skills, and Chiron was accidentally struck in the leg by a poisoned arrow. So accidentally here means it wasn't on purpose, it was an accident. It wasn't supposed to happen, but people weren't careful. I was accidentally hit by a bicycle the other day. The fool wasn't looking where he was going. But in this particular case, Chiron was accidentally hit or struck in the leg by a poisoned arrow, an arrow shot from a bow that had poison on the end of it.
There you go. It struck him in the leg. It hit him in the leg there and made a wound or what have you. And this is not good, because this arrow is poison. That means there's some bad, toxic stuff at the end there that could have hurt him or made him sick, so on and so forth. Yes, you don't want to be poisoned by a poisoned arrow or anything like that. Anyways, here's another example sentence for the adverb accidentally. Oops, I'm sorry. I accidentally dropped this apple on your head. I did not mean to do so, sir. It just kind of happened. I did not mean to do that.
And sometimes when we talk about receiving an injury or receiving a blow from someone or something, we'll often use the preposition in. He hit me in the face, or I got hit in the stomach. Although sometimes we use the preposition on. I got hit on the head by a baseball. But usually if the object kind of goes into you a little bit, then we say in. So he was struck in the leg by an arrow, or I was struck in the back by a rock.
Yeah, you would be hit by a watermelon or maybe a baseball, but a baseball bat, you'd be struck by that. You can be struck by a baseball bat or by an arrow or something like that. But yes, here, poor Chiron, he was struck in the leg by this arrow, and this is a problem. Also, it says here that this poisoned arrow belonged to his pupil Hercules. I did use this word earlier in the lesson here. When we're talking about a pupil, we're not talking about a part of the eye. A pupil is a student, okay? Remember, Hercules was one of the students here of Chiron, okay? So he is a pupil of Chiron, you could say. Anyways, more on poor Chiron, or Chiron, I should say, who was struck by this poisoned arrow, the wound that was made. The wound was so painful that Chiron wished to die, but he couldn't because he was a god. So he decided to give up his immortality in exchange for the freedom of Prometheus, the god whom Zeus had secured to a rock as punishment for gifting humans with fire. By the way, the story of Prometheus is a very interesting one. I will look it up. We do not have enough time to talk about it here, but yes, it'll be worth it. Trust me. Look up the myth of Prometheus. Anyways, it says here, Chiron gave up his immortality in exchange for something. So yes, he gave up one thing, but received another thing in return. That's what it means to do something in exchange for something else. You can either make a trade directly, or you can kind of make a deal. Okay, I'll give up my immortality, which will allow me to die, but you have to do something for me in return, i.e., free something or free someone like Prometheus.
Yep, so if I give up my immortality, then Prometheus can be freed from that punishment by Zeus. Zeus, of course, is the big god, the big guy, the head honcho of the Greek gods here. So Prometheus was the god whom Zeus had secured to a rock as punishment for gifting humans with fire. So here we've got the word gift being used as a verb. To gift someone with something is usually the phrase here. Humans were gifted with fire by Prometheus, and Zeus didn't like that, so Zeus punished him by tying him to a rock or securing him to a rock. Here, secure as a verb just means to fix something to something, to attach something to something so that it's not loose, so that it won't move.
Anyways, in recognition of his kindness, Chiron was given a place among the stars, and like Chiron, Sagittarians are well known for their wisdom, bravery, and love of adventure. So there you go. People acknowledged Chiron for his kindness. He said, wow, you're a god, you're immortal, but you're willing to give up this ability to live forever and to not die. For Prometheus, what a nice person you are. What a great person you are. So we're going to give you a place among the stars. That's what we're going to do here for you because we like you. We're going to acknowledge you, give you credit for something, or we're going to do something to remember you. That's the idea here. They did this in recognition of his kindness.
So there you go. Those are the 3 fire signs we've been discussing today. Be happy if you're one of those signs. It sounds pretty cool. Okay, let's move on now to the third and final portion of our lesson for today. We're going to listen to it first.
People born under fire signs indeed have admirable qualities. If you have a friend or loved one born under a fire sign, why not show your admiration by telling them the myth behind their sign?
最后第3部分我们看到的一个单字 admirable， 这个字是形容词，表示令人赞赏的，令人钦佩的。例如Eddie did an admirable job decorating the house for the party. Eddie 为派对所做的布置令人钦佩。另外补充这个字的名词 admiration, A-D-M-I-R-A-T-I-O-N, admiration, 指欣赏、钦佩。我们可以说 The audience clapped their hands to show their admiration for the speaker. 观众拍手以显示他们对演讲者的欣赏。
All right, so I think we've covered our bases this month as far as the fire signs are concerned. Okay, we started off talking about Aries, then we moved on to Leo, and today we kind of talked about Sagittarius. Now, when we were talking about Sagittarius, we mostly talked about a guy named Chiron, a centaur, and boy, was he ever an interesting individual. Anyways, more on the fire signs, though. People born under fire signs, indeed, have admirable qualities, i.e., you'll probably like someone who has been born under a fire sign. You might like them because they've got great qualities as far as being a leader is concerned. You might like the fact that they're super bold people, or that they have a lot of strength as far as character is concerned.
Indeed. So admirable here, of course, is adjective. The adjective form admire is the verb. I really admire my Uncle Chet for fighting in World War II. And, of course, admirable means deserving of praise or admiration, which is the noun there, admiration. So, indeed, these are admirable qualities. You might be admired by people if you do volunteer work at the hospital, for example. So, indeed, if you are one of these signs here, then people will admire you. And if you have a friend or loved one born under a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, why not show your admiration by telling them the myth behind their sign? I bet they never even thought about it. They'll be very surprised. They will listen to you with undivided attention.
There you go. That's a great way to show your admiration for them. Yeah, I really admire your personal qualities there. So let me tell you a little story that I learned today while reading this fantastic magazine. Anyways, folks, with that, it's now time for us to take a break, but don't go away. The Chinese teacher is waiting in the wings.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分提到射手座的代表是 Chiron 凯龙，它是一种半人半马的生物，有智慧又博学多闻。那课文就写到说 He instructed many Greek heroes including Achilles, Jason and Hercules. 他指导过许多希腊英雄，包含阿基里斯、杰森和海克力斯。好，那这边有一个单字 instruct， 我们来学它的字首字根。好，先来看 struct struct 这个字根呢，它有 pile或是 build 的意思，也就是指堆叠啊，或是建造。像 structure 就是由 struct 表示建造，然后再加上名词字尾 ure 而来。structure 表示结构啊、构造体、建筑物等等。好，那在 instruct 这个字当中，它的字首 in 表示在什么什么的上方，那 struct 表示建造。同学们试着想，人家在执行这种建造工程的时候，上面会有人在指挥嘛，去指导他们该怎么做。也许你就可以联想到 instruct 它有指导、教授、指示的意思。好，另外帮同学们补充一下 including、included 还有 inclusive 它们的用法。先来看 including， 它是介系词，表示包含、包括。它的用法是要用 including 加上名词。举例来说 ，everyone including the principal enjoyed the speech。所有的人，包括校长，都很喜欢那场演讲。好，那至于 included 字尾是 ed 的话 ，included 是形容词，形容包括在内的、被包括的。那它的用法是要用名词加上 included， 像刚刚的例句，我们可以改成 Everyone, the principal included, enjoyed the speech。 好，那至于 inclusive，inclusive inclusive 它是形容词，那它的用法是 inclusive of 加上名词。好，这是比较正式的用法。举例来说 The rent is inclusive of utility bills。房租有包含水电瓦斯费。好，那读到课文第二部分的第一句，他说 One day, Chiron was accidentally struck in the leg by a poisoned arrow belonging to his pupil Hercules。 有一天，凯龙意外被他的学生海克力斯的毒箭射中脚。好，那这边用到片语动词 belong to，它表示属于，像是这个所有权是属于某个人，这个属于，或者是可以表达属于什么的一员，属于什么的一部分。举例来说 The scarf belongs to Katrina， 就表示那条围巾是 Katrina 的，是属于她的。好，那再造一个例句哦 Derek belongs to the chess club。 Derek 是西洋棋社的一员。好，那我们还可以用 belong in 加上团体、组织、类别等等的来表达适合什么、归属于什么。像是 Her father believes that women don't belong in the military。 他父亲认为女性不适合从军，不归属于军队。好，那有时候我们会在网络上看到一些心理测验，他可能会问说 Which country do you actually belong in？ 事实上你属于哪一个国家呢？那他就是要测试你其实适合哪一个国家。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Knowledgeable. Feel free to ask our knowledgeable staff about any of our products. Instruct.As a literature professor, Jacqueline instructs students on how to analyze texts. Accidentally. If you didn't receive my email, maybe I accidentally sent it to the wrong person. Secure. Jessie helped her dad secure their luggage to the roof of the car. Admirable. It was really admirable of you to volunteer to help with our cause.
Discussion Starter starts now!
And now it's time for our discussion starter. Hey, Roger. Which of the characters in the article do you find most admirable?
Well, you know, I thought it over for a long time, but I've concluded that Chrysomalis is the most admirable character because he actually sacrificed himself for those two kids. That's what we're here for, folks. We're here to make the world safe and a happy place for children. So I really admire that. In fact, because he was a Ram, from now on, I'm going to be a fan of the Los Angeles Rams. How about you?
Well, I really admire the actions of Chiron. Remember, he was a really nice centaur. Yeah, usually centaurs were violent and wild and mean and nasty, but Chiron was wise and smart and a great teacher, and one day he decided to give up his immortality to free someone. How about that? What a great individual. Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.